Hello, welcome back to the James Rambling Reviews for yet another episode. And in today's episode, I'm going to be talking about the new installment into the Evil Dead franchise called Evil Dead Rise. And this is a bit of a jump from last week's review, a bit of a different kind of review. We're going to talk about a horror movie this time. We talked about Pop Dex a couple of weeks ago as a different horror movie, but to give you a bit of background, I'm not like the biggest fan of Evil Dead. Like, I never grew up with it. It came out in the 80s, but I did watch the first two movies to sort of understand the whole Book of the Dead, because it is referred to in this film in the mixtape from the original movie and all that stuff. So, and it is to do with a cabin in the woods, and that was the primal location of that first movie. So that once we dive into the second movie, it's not in that location. And so getting into my thoughts of this movie here, so Evil Dead Rise is the new installment, and it takes that idea of the cabin in the woods, but now we're in this apartment building and we can't escape this apartment. We have an entire family in here. Like, we've got a mother, we've got a father, we've got a daughter. There's not really a father. So you've got all of this stuff happening, and there's that idea of how the mother is a very caring mother, or the mother should care for the children. That's like, no, the mother should go after the children now. And once they open up the Book of the Dead, they summon all this stuff to happen. The demons come after them and all that. And that's kind of the premise of the story of the movie, is that this happens and it keeps going on and on and on, and the demons possess the book and the mixtape. When the mixtape is up loud, the book just flips, goes all that stuff. So once you get out of that, I do feel like the movie is a bit of a slow burn. It takes like 30-40 minutes to get going, because we're just spending time with the characters, spending time what they like, what they're into, and all this stuff. Like, in that part, like, the characters aren't the strong point of the movie. I feel like where this movie shines is like the camera work, the whole thing about how, like, they use a cheese grater for one of the scenes to emphasize all the crazy gore going on. And there's like this point in the movie where the mother turns into the demon, and she's up close and the people like, and all that camera work, and all the all that works. It's not a character driven one, I don't think. And I think the gore, if you're going in here for the gore and you're a fan of the Resident Evil the Evil Dead movies already, do strongly recommend you go and watch this movie. If you're not the biggest fan of gore in general, it's not the greatest movie to watch, and it's definitely better in theatres because of the sound design, because of the camera work, because of all the awkward moments where it pauses. And there was a few times where I was like, oh, the gore did get me a few times. And so you get all of that stuff in there. And another great thing about this movie is that you get a lot of franchises now where they need to rehash this, they need to rehash that, they need to make this a remake, a forgettable cash grab, a forgettable crash grab, a forgettable cash grab. But because, like I mentioned earlier in the review, that we're not getting the cabin in the woods anymore, we're getting that apartment. That's the good thing about it, and everything in between that. And so, other than that, I don't think I can do a super duper long dong deepy divey on this one. This could be a shorter review because it's not like a movie I can go on for like 15 minutes about. It's just a simple concept, simple story. It's 90 minutes. It's definitely a bit scarier than Pope's Exorcist. It's like a 7 out of 10 for me. If you're into the Evil Dead franchise, I highly recommend it. If you don't like gory movies, don't go watch this movie. But I don't think this movie will work on streaming. It won't serve well because it has that sound and everything in between. Just repeating my points just so you understand the memo of what I'm talking about. So yeah, man, like, where do I think this ranks in terms of the other Evil Dead films? Well, I feel like, right, before we wrap it up, I do think I should bring that point up. Like, I do think the Evil Dead, this movie, this installment, does kind of, because it goes off and it tries to do a different environment and tries to do other things with the cheese grater and everything like that. I don't think it's like it's better in that respect, but you know, that's because this movie was The Evil Dead was one of the movies that's kicked off the horror and the gore stuff, and they didn't really know the rules of filmmaking back then. Yeah, Evil Dead. Yeah, so yeah, there's all of that, and like Sam Raimi and Bruce Campbell directed this stuff. Oh well, did the executive producing stuff like that. So yeah, I don't know where else to take this review. So yeah, hope you enjoyed this review. Watch Evil Dead, don't watch Evil Dead, do whatever you want, right? It's your choice in this world to watch whatever you want. Maybe we'll do a Guardians 3 review because it comes out next week. So yeah, see you for another edition of the James Rambling Reviews. Evil Dead. Evil Dead.